and welcome back to another video, and if you're here for the very first time, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related, sometimes a shopping haul, sometimes we share meals of the week, sometimes I cook with you, and sometimes, just like today, it's a bit of a reminder to myself, to everybody out there, all you thrifty people, of how to beat inflation at the supermarket. Inflation here in France has come down, but when inflation comes down, it doesn't mean to say that food prices and prices at the supermarket come down. It means instead of increasing by 10% or 15%, they're only increasing by 7% on average or 5%, but still the prices are increasing. So the chat that I'm going to have with you today, and it's a reminder to myself as much to you, and it's always good to revise our supermarket skills to beat inflation, because we have to be really savvy and really clever with the way we shop. So I've got 10 quick tips, really quick tips to go through with you today. Stock up on your staples when they are on offer. When I saw gluten-free pasta and gluten-free flour at 20% off, I bought 2 or 3 of them. I just made sure within my budget that week that I had enough to keep me going for a little bit longer. So within my budget, as you know, I keep 10% back to stock up. It's a good tip for all of you. Take a little bit of that money and make sure you're stocking up on the staples, but do so when you see them, even if it's a tiny reduction like 10%. Now, when we enter a supermarket, the supermarket wants to send you on a specific route. They want you to pass everything. And here is my best advice to you to get exactly what you need. Is on your shopping list, think about the things that are your absolute basics. Fruit and veg, meat, fish, cheese, dairy, those basics first. So get those on your list first, and even if it means you double back on yourself in the supermarket and you don't follow the exact same route, buy your basics first. As you're traveling around the supermarket, getting what you need at the price you want, and you've checked the sales and all of those things, make sure that you get those first and go around with your calculator at the same time, so you know that you're sticking to the budget that you decided on before you went in there. Checking unit prices is so important, and here they will try and con us, because some things they will put in the price per 100 grams and sometimes they will put in the price per kilo, and you'll have to think about comparing the price. So if it's price per 100 grams, I'm timesing it by 10 to make it equivalent to the kilo price. But what if it's things like loo rolls? What if it's things like laundry liquid? I'm then comparing how many liquid measurements there are, how many you might be looking at, how many fluid ounces there are in it, and how much they're charging per fluid ounce. I'm looking at how many milliliters or how many liters I'm getting for the money. I'm looking at how many grams I'm getting for the money. I'm looking at how many washes I'm going to get per bottle of shampoo. I'm looking at how many sheets of toilet paper there are on a roll, because it might look cheap, but when you actually compare it, those are the unit prices that we need to be looking at. And sometimes, and we found this, the branded products can often be cheaper than the unbranded products when I go and look at the unit prices. I always ask myself if something is on sale. Yes, it's on sale, but is it actually a good sale? I recently stocked up on laundry products from a supermarket called Super U, and I made sure before I went there and bought it at 34% off that was a really good price. So I compared that with other supermarkets because Super U is a bit more expensive, better quality, but when you get the deals, they are actually, and I worked it out, cheaper than Lidl. So that would have been a case, wouldn't it? If I'd have not checked that I could have thought to myself, well, I think that Super U is a bit expensive, I won't go there. But make sure if something is on sale that it is actually really a sale. Some of the basic products that we buy and food products that we buy can be much cheaper. Back in the UK, they were much cheaper on what I would call the foreign food aisles. So I could go and buy jars of pâté, I could buy sausages and things like that if I bought them off the East European section. I could buy jam cheaper from the East European section. I could go to the Asian section and buy very big bags of spices. Here, a 15-gram bottle of cumin is about €1.50. If I go to the Asian supermarket and buy a half a kilo pack of it, and I use loads of cumin, for example, I can buy that for the same price. I can buy that there for €1 to €2. If I were a family who ate a lot of rice or a lot of noodles or a lot of pasta or a lot of beans, going to Asian supermarkets and buying it in larger quantities is much, much cheaper. Buying things like sweet and sour sauce, sweet chili sauce, black bean sauce, all of those things in tiny sachets is expensive. Or if I go to the Asian supermarket usually once a year, and I can stock up on those things that I add to my food, way, way cheaper. The next one, and I say this through personal experience, is to be mindful and in some cases wary of the discount supermarkets. And I'm talking about Lidl, Aldi, and our cases here in Europe of Netto. They sometimes have really, really good deals and they'll lure you in with those really good deals. But their staples, meat for example, cheese and dairy and butter, might not be a very good price in comparison to the supermarkets who seem to always have a deal on eggs. They've always got a deal on milk. They've always got a deal on some cleaning products. So yeah, go to your local discounters when you get what's there on discount. I went to Lidl the other day and I got really good discounts on fruit and veg. 15 to 20% off fruit and veg. Really happy with that. But when I was looking around the store, I noticed things were much more expensive than I was used to paying in places like Super U or in Leclerc. Things like ham, butter, cheese, eggs were more. So be wary of your discounters and go by all means and buy the products that you know are a good price. But if you can, split that shop. 1 week I might go to Lidl, next week I'll wait. Make the most of frozen food. You can look at the price between plain frozen chicken breast and plain fresh chicken breast, and you can often find a big difference. Ground beef, beef burgers, sausages, those kind of staples. Frozen chickens in comparison to a fresh chicken is a good example. So make the most of those and really also make the most of freezing what you can consider leftovers. I would freeze things like the tops of celery, wash it, dry it, chop it, freeze it. The same with the tops of leeks. The same thing with chicken bones or chicken carcasses. I will save them up in a bag until I need them. But make the most of your freezer. It will save you money. We found recently that there are lots of things that we can buy frozen. Frozen fish being our main example. We're perfectly happy with it. It suits us and the price is phenomenal. one is you need to be prepared to put in the work to get the money off coupons, to get the digital coupons, that you've got to get the sale items and the discounts. Because people say to me all the time, I go into that supermarket that you go into, I never see these offers. You're not looking hard enough. Oh, I go into that shop, I never see this. No, you've really got to put the work in. They still want to claim that they're cheaper, that supermarket A is cheaper than supermarket B. But it's only if you get the offers and the deals, and you've got to look for them. And we looked at 2 American supermarkets. We looked at Walmart and we looked at Kroger. And we looked at their websites, and they were sharing information on deals and prices, and you could see there where you could compare and contrast and where you could get them. They were both offering digital coupons. I didn't know whether you needed to print them out, and both of them had an app. So both of them had digital coupons that you just go in and they just beep your phone in the same way as they would beep your money off vouchers. In the UK, if you can get them, you know full well that things like farm stores, farm foods, I beg your pardon, those leaflets come through your door. Don't just throw them into the recycling. Have a look through them. Are there things on there that it might be worth your while going out there? In the UK, you know, if you don't have the store card, if you don't have the Morrisons and more, if you don't have the Tesco's, that you do not get the best prices. You do not get the best deals. If you want the best prices here in France, get the Netto app, get the Intermarché app, get the Super U app, get the Leclerc app, and make sure that you're scrolling through it. It doesn't take long. Do you need to do anything? Sometimes you need to swipe left, swipe right, tick something, do something. Check that. And then when you are building up that credit back on your app, you've got free money to spend. And every discount that you get is literally blowing raspberries at these supermarkets who are price gouging. They absolutely are. So you need to put in the effort and do the work, and I can promise you it pays off. This one saves us so much money. It's to know when your supermarkets reduce food at the end of the day or throughout the day. Know their time. We used to live in a town with a local co-op supermarket, and we knew if we went there within the last hour on a Sunday, we could get all the bread and products that would need to, maybe for his packed lunches for the week. We might get ready-made sandwiches that we could put in the fridge and things, and we would be getting it for like 50 pence a loaf instead of £2. We knew that if we called into Morrisons, who shut about 8-9 o'clock at night, within the last hour, we could go in there, we could get pies, rotisserie chickens, cooked joints of meat, we could get bread, we could get cheap meat, and we knew when to go. And I know that's highly competitive now. I know that. But stores like Lidl, it's first thing on a Sunday morning. Can you get to Lidl when it opens at 8 o'clock in the morning? And get there on a Sunday and get those reduced stickers. We know here it's predominantly in the morning. If we get to a supermarket first thing in the morning, they'll have cleared things off the shelf the night before and put the stickers on them and put them in a certain fridge or a certain area in the store, and we go straight there and look for those. But know it. And it's like knowing when you get the discounts or the codes or the money off or the vouchers. It is worth putting in that little bit of work. It doesn't take that much longer, but the rewards are massive. The most important thing that we can do to beat the supermarkets, to beat inflation, to get everything at the price that we want to pay, is we have to shop strategically. And that means you do a stock check before you even think about your meal plan. That you meal plan with what you've got first, so you use everything up. And then and only then do you create your shopping list of the things that you need first, needs first. And then when you get to the supermarket, you make sure that the Wi-Fi is working, or that your phone is working, or that the app is working, or you've got your store card, or you've got your money off vouchers, that you just take 5 seconds before you get out of your car or you walk through the door, that you just gather yourself, that you make sure you've got your money off vouchers, that you've got your list, that you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to go in and get the basics first. I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for my 10% that I can add to my stockpile. So shopping strategically, it's really important, and it's something that we're getting more and more into as the prices get higher. Mike and I say this all the time, we just have to be on our absolute top game, because we will not be beaten. Now, I make it my job to make sure that I stick to my budget, that I've planned my meals, that we're not wasting anything, and that I am not going to let these supermarkets get me down, because these prices are no joke. Share with us, how do you shop strategically? How do you plan? How do you create a meal plan that means that you don't waste anything? And tell me about your mindset. How do you switch on that mindset when you walk into that supermarket? Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Thank you massively for hitting the like button. We'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.